I want you to try a quick mental exercise with me, just for a second. Imagine you've been away, maybe for a long weekend. You're tired, dragging your suitcase, and all you want is to just fall onto your own couch. You put the key in the lock, you push the door open, and you hear nothing.
And not like a peaceful nothing.
No, not peace and quiet. I mean that hollow, echoing sound of a completely empty space. No furniture, no refrigerator hum, just dead air. You walk in, and your home is gone.
It's a really visceral image. We're not just talking about a quiet house. We're talking about a home that's been, stripped down to the studs. A skeleton.
Today, we are unpacking a story that creates that exact scenario. It's a first-hand account called The Sound of a Silent Revenge. And while on the surface, yeah, it's a dramatic story about cheating, that's really just the wrapper.
Right. If you peel that back, this is actually a masterclass in logistics. It's a case study in what the author calls demolition mode, a calculated 72-hour operation to completely dismantle a life before the other person even knows the game is over.
It's almost military in its precision. We're going to look at the girls' trip that wasn't, the one huge operational security failure that brought it all down, and yeah, how a 5-star hotel stay turned into homelessness in a single weekend.
It really makes you ask yourself, how secure is the life you've built? Because this deep dive shows, with enough motivation and a strategic mindset, it can be erased faster than you can get a flight home from Miami.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We have the narrator, the husband, and his wife, Amanda. And the atmosphere in their house has been, well, you'd call it chilly.
The source material describes a classic checking out phase. You know the signs, right? Amanda's been cold for months, distant, hiding her phone screen when he walks in, and then she drops the news. She needs a break. She's going on a girls' weekend to Miami.
Which is the perfect cover. It explains everything. The travel, the need for space, why she might be hard to reach.
It gives her a totally valid reason to be unreachable.
But the husband says his, internal radar started pinging almost immediately.
It's always the small things, isn't it? The little deviations from the baseline. He noticed 2 things that just didn't add up for a relaxed trip with friends. First, what she packed. He calls it her special lingerie, the expensive stuff she hadn't worn for him in years.
That's a huge data point right there. If the product isn't being marketed to the current customer, but the inventory is moving, it's going somewhere else.
That is a very cold way to put it, but yeah, it's accurate. The second red flag, though, was, frankly, much more telling. She password protected her suitcase.
Wait, inside her own house?
Inside her own house. And psychologically, that signals a huge shift. Our homes are supposed to be safe zones. We let our guard down. Locking a suitcase in your own bedroom. That's an act of high-level defensiveness. It just screams, I am hiding something specific.
But that's the thing, right? Suspicion isn't proof. He had a bad feeling, but he couldn't just accuse her without sounding like a paranoid husband, not until she left for the airport.
And this brings us to what's called OPSEC, or operational security. If you're running a secret operation, and an affair is a secret operation, your security is only as strong as your weakest link. Amanda made a rookie mistake. She focused on securing the physical object, the suitcase, but she completely ignored the digital ecosystem.
The ecosystem trap. She left her iPad sitting right on the kitchen counter.
It happens so often. People treat their phones like they're Fort Knox lockdown, Face ID, always in their pocket. But tablets, they're like coffee table books. They forget that in a synced ecosystem like Apple's, that iPad is basically a live clone of the phone.
So picture it. The husband is in the kitchen. It's Friday night, 10 p.m. Amanda is supposedly with the girls in Miami. And then, ding, a notification lights up the screen.
And it's not from a friend named Jessica or Sarah. It's from a contact saved as Mark Work.
Ah, the classic work camouflage. I feel like Mark from work is the villain in half of these stories.
It's the oldest trick for a reason. It's plausible. But the message itself just blew past any ambiguity. It wasn't about a spreadsheet. It said, and this is a direct quote, "Room 402 is ready. Champagne is on ice. Can't wait to see you in that red dress."
And that's it. That's the moment. Point of no return.
It's the instant conversion of suspicion into solid fact. Think about how much information is in that one text. The red dress, he saw her pack it. The room number confirms the location. The champagne confirms the intent. In 1 second, the whole girls' trip story is just incinerated.
Now, most people in this situation, the adrenaline hits. You're furious, you're hurt. The instinct is to pick up the phone and just start screaming.
That's the emotional response, fight or flight. But what makes this story so unique and why we're digging into it is that the husband completely bypassed that. He didn't call, he didn't text. He realized he had a massive strategic advantage, information asymmetry.
He knew, she didn't know who knew.
Exactly. She thinks she's safe and sound in room 402. And he had one other critical asset: time. He checked her flight, confirmed she was at that hotel, and realized he had a 72-hour window until she got back on Tuesday.
And this is where he initiates what he calls demolition mode.
It's a total mindset shift. He writes it explicitly: I didn't cry, I didn't drink. He treated the heartbreak like a project management crisis. The goal wasn't to fix it. The goal was total erasure.
So, Saturday morning, Amanda's probably having mimosas with Mark. What's the husband doing?
He's on the phone with a moving company, and he's not asking for a quote for next week. He offers double pay for emergency, same-day service. This is a key lesson in crisis logistics. Money buys speed. He needed a crew there, like now.
And when we say he cleared the house, we need to be really specific here. This wasn't just him packing his own stuff and leaving.
No, this was a scorched earth operation. He took the leather sofa, the 85-inch TV, the dining table, all the jewelry, which he notes he had paid for, so he felt he was just recouping his assets. But then he got into the really granular details.
The details are what make this so memorable. He took the shower curtains.
And the light bulbs.
The light bulbs. That just feels, it feels so petty, doesn't it? Why unscrew a light bulb?
On the surface, yeah. But it's actually a really specific psychological tactic. Taking the furniture makes the house unlivable. But taking the light bulbs and shower curtains makes the house hostile. It's designed to maximize that feeling of disorientation. You walk into a dark room, you flip a switch, and nothing happens. It creates this immediate, deep sense of unease.
He said he left the house looking like a skeleton. Just that visual. You spend years building a home, layering it with comfort and memories, and in 6 hours, a moving crew strips it back to the drywall.
It's a perfect physical metaphor for the end of the marriage. He stripped it bare. But the physical removal was only phase 1. While the movers were hauling out the sofa, he was already pivoting to phase 2, the financial strike.
And this is where the administrative setup of their marriage becomes so critical. You have to know where you stand legally and financially before you do something like this.
Correct. They had joint finances, but the husband was the primary account holder on their credit cards. That's a distinction people often forget. Being an authorized user lets you spend, but being the primary holder, that lets you control.
So while she's in Miami, he calls the bank
and reports every single card as lost or stolen.
I've done that before when I actually lost my wallet. The freeze is instantaneous.
It is. The cards just become dead plastic. And he didn't stop there. He called the cell phone provider and had her service suspended.
Okay, so let's talk about Sunday night. This is the moment of impact. Up until now, Amanda has no idea. She's at a fancy place called the Steakhouse in Miami.
She's with Mark. They're living out the fantasy. The bill comes. And back home, the husband gets a notification on his phone.
Declined. $450.
Ouch. And you know the waiter tried it again?
Declined. $450.
Can you just imagine that scene? It's a total power move from 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
The waiter comes back, trying to be discreet. I'm sorry, man, the card didn't go through.
Yeah.
So she pulls out her phone to call the bank.
And the phone shows no service.
It's a complete communications blackout. She is stranded. Can't pay, can't call for help. The affair bubble is just popped right there at the table.
She has to ask Mark to pay for dinner.
Which completely flips the power dynamic. It's not a sexy getaway anymore. It's an embarrassing logistical problem. And it forces the reality of her situation on both of them. Affairs are built on fantasy. They crumble when real-world problems show up.
Meanwhile, back at the skeleton house, the husband is packing up the very last items, her clothes.
And he doesn't just leave them in the closet.
No, he drives them over to her mother's house, dumps the bags on the front porch, and leaves a note. A single sentence.
Ask your daughter about Mark.
That is just surgical. It's so ruthless.
It's strategic narrative control. He knows she's going to run to her mother. By planting that name Mark, he's already framed the conversation. He's cutting off her safe harbor before she even gets there.
Okay, fast forward to Tuesday. The 72 hours are up. The house is empty. Accounts are frozen. Clothes are at her mom's. The husband himself is gone.
He's checked into an Airbnb, but digitally. He's still right there at the front door.
Ring doorbell camera.
It creates this haunting vantage point. He's watching the whole thing unfold on a live stream. He's both the director and the sole audience member for her downfall.
An Uber pulls up. Amanda gets out. She's got her suitcase. She's tan, looks happy. She has absolutely no idea her entire life has just been incinerated.
She unlocks the front door, and the source material highlights the audio here. She opens the door and calls out, "Hello, babe."
And the camera picks up that echo.
That hollow sound we talked about, the sound of emptiness. She walks in, and you can see the realization hit her in waves. She runs to the living room. Nothing. She runs to the bedroom.
The description is just brutal. She finds nothing but the indentations in the carpet where their bed used to be.
It's the phantom limb of a marriage. It's got to be so disorienting. She runs back to the front door, hyperventilating.
But he left one last thing for her, taped to the inside of the front door.
A single envelope. Inside, just 2 pieces of paper. The divorce papers, which is the legal end, and a printout of that text message. Room 402 is ready. The emotional end.
That's the mic drop. It answers the one question she must be screaming, why? Room 402, that's why.
He watched her collapse on the floor through the camera feed. He says he watched her cry for about 20 minutes, and that was the only closure he needed. Then he cut the feed.
That is so intense.
Yeah.
It's just so total.
It is. And we have to look at the aftermath, because this wasn't just a bad weekend for her. This was a permanent life change.
Right, the fallout was absolute. Amanda ends up living with her mother, literally sleeping in a room with those trash bags of clothes he dropped off.
And Mark, the guy for room 402.
Vanished. Dumped her the second the drama started.
Which is pretty typical. Affairs thrive in secrecy and adrenaline. They almost never survive the harsh light of real-world consequences, especially when those consequences involve homelessness and financial ruin. Mark signed up for a fun weekend, not this.
And the house itself.
It was sold 3 weeks later. And here's the final brutal financial detail. It was a premarital asset.
Oh, wow. So what does that mean exactly?
It means that in many places, if you own a property before the marriage and you keep the title just in your name, it remains your separate property. He bought it before they even met, so she had no legal claim to the equity.
So she walked away with literally nothing.
Nothing. She went from a comfortable home to living out of garbage bags at her mom's house in less than a month.
It's the definition of play stupid games, win stupid prizes, but like on a nuclear scale.
If you step back and just analyze the operation, it's a terrifying example of competence. The husband didn't actually do anything illegal. It was his house, his primary accounts, his phone plan. He was within his rights.
But to do it all in 72 hours, that takes a level of focus that is, frankly, kind of scary.
It's that demolition mode mindset. He converted his grief into a logistics problem. Instead of processing the pain, he processed the assets. He basically weaponized the administrative side of their marriage against her.
And it's the sheer speed of the transition that gets me. She goes on a luxury vacation to cheat, thinking she's untouchable. She comes back to literally nothing. No home, no husband, no money, no boyfriend.
It really just highlights the fragility of the status quo. We think our lives are these solid, concrete things, but really, they're held together by a bunch of agreements: social, legal, financial. And if one person decides to void all of those contracts at the same time, the whole structure just collapses instantly.
It's a sobering thought. You know, we started this by talking about the silence of an empty house, but I think the loudest thing in this whole story is that text message, that one digital breadcrumb.
Absolutely. The entire domino chain started with one iPad left on one kitchen counter.
It's wild to think about. If she had just taken that iPad with her, she might have come home, kissed him on the cheek, and the lie could have gone on for who knows how long.
That's the great what if, isn't it? But she got complacent. And when you're dealing with secrets, complacency is fatal.
So what's the takeaway here for all of us? I mean, besides the obvious, don't cheat.
I think it really speaks to the digital trails we all leave. We live in this ecosystem where our devices are constantly talking to each other. We worry about hackers, maybe, but in this case, and in so many cases, the biggest threat to a secret is the convenience of our own technology.
We trade privacy for convenience every single day. We want our texts on our laptop, our photos on our tablet.
Exactly. Syncing is great for productivity, but it's just terrible for secrecy. If you're going to live a double life, you can't use a unified operating system. It's OPSEC 101.
And the other thing for me is about the nature of revenge. This wasn't a crime of passion. He didn't slash her tires or cause a scene.
No. It was a cold, calculated, administrative dismantling. It shows that sometimes the most devastating reaction isn't the loudest one. It's the one that happens in total silence while you're looking the other way.
That image of him just sitting in an empty house, waiting for that first declined notification to pop up on his phone, that's going to stick with me.
It's the calm before the storm. Or maybe the calm during the storm he created.
Well, this has been a heavy one, but a really fascinating look at the mechanics of a modern breakup. It makes you look at your own home a little differently, doesn't it? All this stuff, all this stability, it can be packed in a box and gone by Tuesday.
It certainly can.
So we want to leave you with a final thought. We spend so much time curating our digital lives and our physical homes, but we rarely think about how deeply connected they are. In this story, a digital slip-up led to a complete physical erasure. So as you look around your own home today, just ask yourself, what digital echoes are you leaving behind? And if someone unlocked your front door and just listened, what would the silence tell them?
That's a powerful question.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you on the next one.
Take care.